We want to celebrate the women in the military, and you never know where their roads are going to take them. But from the battlefields of the American Revolution to the deserts of Kuwait, women have been serving the military in one form or another for more than 200 years. And here's just a glimpse of the history of women in the military and how their roles have changed over the years. Although women were not always permitted to enlist in the United States Armed Forces, many still found ways to serve their nation. During the Revolutionary War, as colonial militias armed themselves and joined George Washington's Continental Army, many of these soldiers' wives, sisters, daughters, and mothers went with them. Can you imagine? These women traveled alongside the Continental Army, where they boosted morale as well as mended clothes, tended to wounds, foraged for food, cooked and cleaned both laundry and cannons. Deborah Sampson was one of these ladies who wanted to join the military so badly, and she fought disguised as a man for many, many years before her true sex was revealed as a result of a hospitalization due to an injury. Other women, such as Lydia Durag, also supported the war effort by spying on behalf of the Patriots. However, women's roles in the military became even more crucial during the Civil War. As their support expanded, nearly 20,000 women lent their skills and efforts in everything from growing crops to feeding the Union troops to cooking in Army camps. Approximately 3,000 women served as nurses in the Union Army during that war. Legendary nurse and founder of the Red Cross, Clara Barton, even received a special military pass that permitted her to travel directly onto the battlefield, where she drove her medical wagon straight into the fray to tend to wounded soldiers. The 20th century changed everything for the women in the military. At the onset of the United States entry into World War I, in April of 1917, the United States Nurse Corps, or the ANC, often worked in dangerous conditions near the front lines, caring for service members and civilians alike, and ensuring the health and safety of Allied troops. However, World War I is also notable because it was the first time women who did not even have the right to vote at that time were allowed to spend time in the military. World War II created an unprecedented need for service members. As more than 16 million Americans stepped up to serve on the front lines, the majority of these being men, the United States military was left with many non-combat roles that needed to be filled. So the women of the United States stepped up too. And for the first time in history, all branches of the military enlisted women in their ranks. The Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Coast Guard. In total, nearly 350,000 American women served in uniform during World War II. In 1948, 3 years after the end of World War II, President Harry S. Truman signed the Women's Armed Services Integration Act into law, officially allowing women to serve as full permanent members of all branches of the armed forces. Approximately 11,000 women were stationed in Vietnam during the nearly 20-year war, and 90% of them were nurses in the Army, Navy, and Air Force. Notably, most volunteered to go. During the Vietnam War, other female service members worked as air traffic controllers, intelligence officers, and clerks, both at home and in Vietnam. At the end of the 20th century and beginning of the 21st, there were a lot of firsts for women in the military. The first woman to become a Navy fighter pilot, the first female four-star general in the Army, and the first female rescue swimmer in the Coast Guard, among others. There was even the first Silver Star awarded to a female soldier since World War II. That was Army Sergeant Leanne Hester, who was awarded the Military Medal in recognition of her brave actions during an enemy ambush on her supply convoy in Iraq in 2005. She is the first woman to ever receive the Silver Star for direct combat action. Since the opening of combat positions to women, several female service members have trained to step into these new roles. Over the past many years, over 100 women have graduated from the Army's Ranger School, and others have successfully completed the Navy SEAL Officer Assessment Selection Program, proving their capabilities in even the most rigorous and challenging of assignments. Women continue to make history in the military today, pushing boundaries and taking on more roles, more prestigious roles than ever before. More than 300,000 women have served in Iraq and Afghanistan since 9/11. More than 9,000 have earned combat action badges. And today, women make up 16% of our nation's armed forces, serving in every branch of the United States military. The over 3 million women who have served in or with the armed forces since the American Revolution have contributed immensely to the strength and the resilience of our armed forces. Every day, America's service members selflessly put their lives on the line to keep us safe and free. And on this day of independence, because of their perseverance and dedication to service throughout the wars and the years, these grand ladies behind me have helped pave the way for women in the military who will come after us. So let's take a moment to recognize our women in the military and to let them know how much we appreciate their services and sacrifices. Ladies, please stand to be recognized. Thank you so very much.